Have you ever stared at your bank account showing $100,000 and wondered if you are actually wealthy or just really good at pretending to be? Most people think hitting six figures means they have finally made it. But here is the uncomfortable truth that your high school math teacher and the traditional financial system conveniently forgot to mention. In this current year of 2026, that $100,000 sitting in your account is not the finish line. It is actually the starting gun for a race you did not even know you were running. The value of a dollar has changed, and the old rules of simply saving and hoping for the best no longer apply to the world we live in today. If you are someone between the ages of 35 and 55, you likely feel a silent pressure building in your chest every time you think about the future. You have worked hard, you have made sacrifices, and you have finally accumulated a respectable sum of money. But deep down, you know that $100,000 is not enough to sustain you when you decide to stop trading your time for a paycheck. Today, we are going to strip away the myths and look at the raw, cold mathematics of wealth building. I am going to prove to you that once you hit $100,000, you are much closer to becoming a millionaire than the numbers on your screen suggest. The secret lies in understanding a mathematical principle that has been creating millionaires for decades, yet remains a mystery to those who are stuck in the cycle of linear thinking. We are talking about the exponential power of compound interest, which is often called the eighth wonder of the world. In 2026, understanding this power is not just an advantage, it is a requirement for survival. Let us begin by looking at the brutal reality of the first phase of your journey. The path from zero to your first $100,000 is often described as a grueling excavation. It is like trying to start a fire in the middle of a rainstorm by rubbing two sticks together. You work, you sweat, and for a long time, nothing seems to happen. During these initial years, which typically take about 12 years for the average investor contributing $500 a month, the progress feels like molasses. Out of that first $100,000, roughly $84,000 comes directly from your own blood, sweat, and tears. Your contributions are doing almost all of the heavy lifting. The investment returns only account for about $16,000 of that total. This is the point where most people give up. They look at 12 years of discipline and see only $16,000 in growth, and they conclude that the system is rigged or that investing does not work. They see their friends buying new luxury cars or taking expensive vacations, and they feel like they are missing out on life for a reward that seems too far away. But what they do not realize is that they have just completed the hardest part of the entire process. They have built the foundation, and the physics of money are about to shift in their favor. Once you cross that $100,000 threshold, you have officially pushed the boulder to the top of the mountain. Now the momentum of the universe is ready to take over. Think about the rule of 72, a simple mathematical shortcut to determine how long it takes for your money to double. At a conservative 8% annual return, which is well within the historical averages of the stock market, your money doubles every 9 years. But when you are consistently adding to that pile, the acceleration becomes even more dramatic. While it took you 12 long years to get to 100,000, it will only take about 6 additional years to reach 200,000. Read that again and let it sink in. The same amount of growth that took over a decade now takes only half the time. By the time you reach this second milestone, the math is starting to do more work than you are. At $200,000, your investment growth is now generating nearly as much money as your annual contributions. You have effectively hired a second version of yourself to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever asking for a raise or a day off. This is the moment when the psychological game changes. You are no longer just a person with a savings account. You are the owner of a wealth-generating machine. In the world of 2026, where inflation and economic uncertainty are constant topics of conversation, having this machine is the only true form of security. You cannot rely on a pension that might not exist or a social security system that is under constant strain. You must rely on the mathematics of compounding. As you move from $200,000 toward the $500,000 mark, the curve steepens even further. The growth becomes addictive. You start to see your balance jump by tens of thousands of dollars in a single year during good market cycles. By the time you reach $500,000, you are in the elite territory of financial independence. At this stage, if your portfolio earns an average return, it is generating $40,000 to $50,000 a year in growth alone. For many people, that is equivalent to a full-time salary. Your money has officially become your colleague, and soon it will become your boss. The final stretch from $500,000 to $1 million is where the real magic happens. If you maintain your discipline and avoid the trap of lifestyle creep, you will find that the journey to 7 figures happens with a speed that seems almost impossible compared to those first 12 years of grinding. When you finally hit that $1 million milestone, you will look back and realize something profound. More than 75% of that $1 million came from compound growth, not from your own contributions. You only put in a fraction of the total, but time and mathematics did the rest. This is the secret that the wealthy understand and the middle class ignores. Wealth is not about how much you earn. It is about how much of your money you put to work and how long you let it work without interference. However, we must address the elephant in the room for the year 2026. The road is not always a smooth, upward line. There will be market crashes, there will be global instability, and there will be voices screaming at you to sell everything and hide in cash. The news cycle is designed to keep you in a state of fear, because fear generates clicks and revenue for media companies. But a rational investor, a person who understands the sage wisdom of the markets, knows that a market crash is simply a sale on future wealth. When prices drop, your monthly contributions buy more shares. When the market eventually recovers, as it has done after every single downturn in history, those extra shares become the fuel for your exponential growth. The people who panic and sell are the ones who fund the retirements of the people who stay the course. You must decide which group you want to belong to. One of the greatest dangers you face today is not a market crash, but the quiet erosion of your purchasing power through inflation. Holding $100,000 in a standard savings account in 2026 is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slowly leaks away until you are left with nothing but a memory of what that money used to buy. To reach $1 million, you must be invested in assets that grow faster than the cost of living. You must own pieces of the most productive companies in the world. This brings us to the importance of the 4% rule. Once you reach that $1 million goal, you are looking at an annual income of $40,000 that can be adjusted for inflation every year. Combined with other sources of income, this provides a level of freedom that most people can only dream of. It is the freedom to say no to a toxic work environment. It is the freedom to spend time with your family without checking your bank balance every 5 minutes. It is the freedom to live life on your own terms. But this freedom requires a price, And that price is delayed gratification. We live in a culture of instant everything. Instant food, instant entertainment, and instant debt. The person who builds $1 million portfolio is the person who is willing to drive a reliable used car instead of a flashy new one. It is the person who chooses to invest their tax refund instead of spending it on a weekend getaway they will forget in 6 months. It is the person who understands that every dollar spent today is $10 lost in 20 years. If you are 45 years old today and you have $100,000, you are perfectly positioned to reach the $1 million mark before you reach retirement age. But you must act with a sense of urgency. Time is the most valuable asset you have. And every day you wait to get serious is a day you are stealing from your future self. Stop listening to the people who tell you that it is too late or that the economy is too unstable. The economy has always been unstable, and yet wealth continues to be created by those who follow the math. Look at the successful investors who came before you. They did not get lucky, they got disciplined. They did not follow the crowd, they followed the charts and the compounding tables. They understood that the first 100,000 was the price of admission to a better life. As we navigate the complexities of 2026, remember that your bank account is a reflection of your habits and your mindset. If you view money as something to be spent, you will always be poor. If you view money as a seed to be planted, you will eventually walk through a forest of your own creation. The math does not lie. The $100,000 you have today is a powerful weapon, but only if you know how to use it. Do not let it sit idle. Do not let it be consumed by the fires of temporary desires. Protect it, grow it, and let it lead you to the $1 million finish line. You have the roadmap, you have the logic, and you have the time. The only thing left is the action. Start by auditing your expenses and finding that extra $500 or $1,000 a month to feed the machine. Look for ways to increase your income through side ventures or professional growth, specifically for the purpose of investing. Educate yourself on the low-cost index funds that provide broad market exposure with minimal fees. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It requires you to be different from the average person who is content with mediocrity. But then again, you are not average. You have reached the $100,000 mark, which means you already have more discipline than 90% of the population. Now, it is time to finish what you started. Take a deep breath and look at your financial future with clarity and confidence. The $1 million dream is not a fantasy. It is a mathematical certainty for those who refuse to quit. Focus on the process, ignore the noise, and let the eighth wonder of the world do what it does best. Your future self is waiting for you at the $1 million mark, thanking you for the decisions you are making today. Keep moving forward, stay consistent, and never underestimate the power of a single dollar put to work. The race is long, but the reward is eternal freedom. Now is the time to commit. Now is the time to build. The roadmap is in your hands, and the path is clear. Go out there and make it happen.